Hey there, Heather Boyd Wire here. Today we're going to make some wire initial pendants with birthstones. So what you're going to need for this project are your tools. I'm using 20 gauge wire. This is the tarnish resistant brass wire from Beadalon. I usually have a round form on hand like a Sharpie or a pen, and I have a bunch of 6mm beads. So depending how big you want your letters to be, I'm going to take about a 6-inch piece of wire, and I'm going to start by just bending this up this way, and I want to make like a little bit of a kind of jog at the side. So we're just going to bring that back, okay, back on itself, and then bring it straight up. And then from there, I'm going to take this and bend it on a right angle, and then again down on the right angle, and then just bring that so it makes sort of a symmetrical line like that to that side, and then bend this to the back here, and then bend this up. The idea is I want to finish the letter in the center top, so we're going to bring it up here. So we have what already looks like an A, and then what we want to do is just bring this up. So I'm just going to give it a teeny little jog that way, just really small, and then up. And then this one on this side, we want to make sure it's nicely positioned, and we're just going to bend it a little bit that way. And then from there, just help it along. Just hold this in your pliers and bring it around there. Bring it all the way around. Okay. And then just clip it. So we're going to give it a little clip, and then we're going to just tighten it up with the flat pliers here. So we have the idea is you want to finish it at the top, so that's what it's happening here. You can spread these out a little bit if you want to, and then we'll grab one of our birthstone type ones. This one's a light green. It's almost like an olive green, so it's going to represent the peridot, and it's for the month of August. So then what we can do is just bend this like to the left if you want to add a jump ring, or just perpendicular if you don't want a jump ring. So we're going to bring this one out here, and then just bend this around and clip it. And there we have our A. For the B, same thing, about a 6-inch piece of wire, and we're going to just bend it to the back here, and then around to the front. And now we're going to start forming the B like that. And so take your larger round pliers. If you don't have large enough ones, just go ahead and use the end of a pen or something. So just bring this one over here. Okay, we're going to bring it like that behind this center wire, and then what I want to do is just bring it around. Okay, do a little bit of a twist around here, and then we're going to bring it to the front again. So just take your round pliers, just finish it up here, bring it in. So we have the B, and then you want to bring it around the back. So then what we can do is just bring it around to the back. Now this wire has a nice soft feel to it, so it just makes these nice curved shapes. And then what you can do there is just end it at the back. So cut it flush, just cut it flush like that, give it a pinch, make sure the little opening there is closed, and then what you can do is get another bead. So here's a purple one. This would be amethyst for February. And then if you have a long wire, you want to twist it around like we did the A, you can do that. But if it's short like that, I would even trim it to like 3/8 to 1/2 inch. And then just take your round pliers and then bend it back, and then bring this in. So hold it with your round pliers and bring it in. And if those pliers are too big, get your smaller ones, and just you want this end to go like almost right inside the other hole at the top of the bead. So there we go. And then you could add a jump ring, and that's a really clean finish there. So just compare it to winding it around the top or just leaving it flush like that. So you don't need a very long piece for the C. I would take a Sharpie, a round form, and bring it around here. And then you want to finish off one of the ends. So just grab your round plier and bring it around here just to pull it in there. And then you can cut that flush. The idea is you don't want any little like pokey ends, right? So we're just going to stick that in here, pinch it down a little bit so it's flush in there, and then you can adjust this to the shape that you want for the C. So just take this, adjust it a little bit if you have to, and then just bring this one down. And what you can do to finish the top is just hold this with your round pliers, bring it up, and then just kind of bring it right up like that. And from there you can go ahead and put a bead on there. So we're just going to put a pearl for the month of June, and then we have lots of space there, so you could just bend it to one side and then make your loop here, and just you can twist it around one time if you want, or you could do it the way we did the B and just cut it flush. So there is C. So the D is similar to the B. We're just going to bring it to the left there, just form a bit of a circle, and then you're going to need a larger round form to form the round part of the D. So just bring this around, just bring it around like that, and then you can, you know, see how big that you want it to be. And then from there you probably want to make the round a little bit more pronounced at the top, and then you can just take this end and wind it around so it goes around like that, and then we want to clip it so it's flush in there. So go ahead, take that. It's got a nice bit of a loose circle there, it's not too tight. And then we'll do a light one which represents March's aquamarine, and here you can do it the same way we did the B if you like. You can just take this, cut it to 1/2 inch, and make sure you're holding the bead in your hand. Bring it back a little bit at a bit of an angle, and then just curve it right in so the end just goes in there really flush. And then you could add a jump ring for a necklace. So now we're going to do the E. So we're going to bring this one around. You can use your large round pliers, or you can also use a pen if you like. And this is the bottom part of the E, and then the same as we did in previous ones, we're just going to bring this back, make a sort of a loose loop, and then trim it so it's flush. So we've got that, and then we can just put that one down there, and then we want to make kind of a little loop for the middle part of the E. So we're just going to take this and give it a little bend with our round pliers, and then you can just kind of pull it that way. And then we're going to do the top of the E. So we're just going to bring this one around here, bring it around like that, and that makes a funky little E. And then we can make that a little more pronounced if we want. And then we're going to take this and just bring it around and up. And then from there, we're going to put on a bead. We're going to put this one, clear one that represents April, which is the diamond. And from there, we're just going to do a little twist at the top. And then just twist it around and cut it nice and flush in there. So the F is a little tricky. We're just going to take this end and bring it around, and then we want to bend it at a bit of an angle here, just straight across. And then we're going to just make like what looks like sort of the little cross part of the F. Bring that down and then up again. I'm using my flat pliers so it makes a little bit more of a sharp bend, and then you can go in also with your round pliers and bring that up to the top. And then we want to make sort of a little cross thing, so this is going to come down. Just bring it down and then bend it to the front and just curve it up a little bit. So we do this little like curve up and down a bit, and then bring this one to the back because we want to finish it at the back. And then we're going to bring this one down. And then what you want to do is make sure this stays one wire on top of the other and bend it around. And then we're just going to cut it so it's flush in there. And then you could just pinch that down, and we'll put a bead on here. This one is actually a cat's eye bead. It reminds me of the emerald. So we'll put that one there, and then we can bend it to the side and do our loop at the top, whichever way you prefer to do it. Cut it flush, and there's our F. So for the G, I'm just going to go ahead and form the part of the G that looks a little bit like a it looks a little bit like a C, this part, and so we're just going to bring this one around to form something that looks somewhat like a C. And then just bring this one down a little bit, and then we can form this part that goes up, and we'll catch the bead up there. And then from here we want to form something that looks like a stylized G. So I'm just going to bring that one behind, and you can adjust the shape after, but I'm just going to take this one and just bring it right down, but really pull it tight so it doesn't make too much of a big shape there. And then just take this one and then bring this one around here, and that's going to form something that looks like more like a stylized G. What you can do there is just clip it flush and then just pinch it down, and then from there you can put a bead on the top. So I'm going to put this dark blue one. It's like a sapphire for September. And then what you want to do is, if you want to do your simple loop, just cut it to 1/2 inch, and then take this one, back it up, and then bring this one around so it ends like practically in the hole of the bead. So there's our G. So for the H, I'm just going to start about 1.5 inches from the top there. I'm going to bend it down, and then I'm going to bend this one sort of to the back, and then just pull it relatively tight, not too tight. And we're going to bring this one around that way, and then bring this one up here. And then what we want to do is just bring it back down. So just bend it down on itself, just down here, and then we're just going to bend it out a little bit here, and then we can just finish this part off how you like. I'm going to bend it up a little bit and then just make a little loop thing. So we're going to bend it that way and then just do kind of a funky little loop at the bottom. We're just going to go like that and then clip it so it's flush, because you always want the ends not to be sticking out. That's the key. You just want to get them in there flush, and then you can just like close it a little more if you have to. And then for this part, I want the wire to come up, so I'm going to mirror what I've done there, bring this, bend it, and that part is going to go straight up. And then because it's my birthday month, I'm going to use topaz for November, and we're just going to, because also the wire is short, you can just improvise. I'm going to cut it to 1/2 inch rather than doing the loop around. Just cut it, and then we're going to take this one, pull it back, and just close up the loop. And then all we have to do is stick a jump ring on it to put it on a chain. So we're just going to close that one up, wiggle it around if you have to, and there we have the H. So sometimes the simplest ones are the hardest to make. So for the I I found a nice way to make it is just to kind of bend this and then just pull this end around here, just to make like a loose little shape at the bottom. You don't want it too round, and then you're going to just clip it so it's flush in there, and then just give it a little bit of a pinch. And then just to keep it super simple, I'm actually just going to bend this to the back and do a very tiny like little circle to the back, just, you know, to say that we have somewhere for the bead to stop, and then bend it up sort of at an angle there. And then I'm going to put a bead on there. I'm going to use the turquoise, which is for December. Also the blue zircon is for December. And then we're just going to go like that and then bend it perpendicular. Turn this one around and then give it like a full turn around, and then give it a little clip. There is just a very simplified, stylized eye. So for the J, I struggled with this one on the live stream when we did the word joy, and I'm just going to bring this one around here. And as always, you can check cursive letters on the internet as well, just to you know, see if there's a different style that you prefer. So I'm just going to make the bottom loop like that, very simple. Give it a little bit of a clip, and then you can just take that and make it flush. And then to do the upper part, I'm going to take my smaller pliers here, and then just where I want the top of it to be, just give it a little bit of a bend, and then bring this to the front here. And then we want to just give this a nice big curve around here. So for that, we're going to use our larger pliers, bring it around, and it's going to make like a funky stylized curve here. You can make it as exaggerated as you like, and just bring that one up here. Then I'm going to get a ruby colored bead that's going to represent July. We're going to stick it on there, and then going to bend that to one side, and we'll do a full twist around because I cut the wire big enough to be able to do a full twist. And then we'll give it a pinch, and there's the J. So for the K, I'm going to leave this part up here for the bead, and I'm just going to take this and bend it towards the back. And then you want it sort of around the center point. We're going to bend it at a bit of an angle. So we'll bring this one to the back here, just around the center part, and then we want this part to go down and form the sort of lower part of the K. So just bend it in a bit of sort of an angle. You can use your larger round pliers if you want it more curved. And then what you want to do is actually bend this part to the back, just to make like a little kind of loop thing. You could have it like showing on an angle like that, or you can just like put it one on top of the other so it's more discreet. And then we could just bring this one back up here, and then at the center point we're going to have to like bend it up so it's right behind that wire here. And then all you have to do is hold the two wires one on top of the other, like so. This is where you want the bend at the top of the K, and then take this one, bend it out, and just do a nice firm wrap around there. And then we want to just give it a clip, and from there we can take this one, which will be the garnet. It's like a darker red than the ruby, and these are all glass beads. These aren't real gemstones, but you can use any kind of stones, different colors, whatever you like. And then what you want to do here is you can go ahead and bend it back. Make sure these don't get pushed down, and bring this one around to the front or the back, and just give it a full turn around here, and then just give it a clip, and there's your K. And then for the L, we're just going to form the L. Just bring this one around to the back, just like you're writing a cursive L, and then this one here round to the front, and then just around that way. And then from here you can actually just take this and bring it back around to the back, and then just bring it around. Follow your line around here, just follow the curve, and then you can just kind of bend that straight up here. Now if it's a stiff wire, this is going to hold its shape, and if you're worried about it, you could bend this wire and back up there. But if you want it very simple, just take this, bend that to the back, clip it so it's flush, and then bend that in so there's no sharp edge. And then if you like the look of that, great. If you don't like the way that looks, just bend it towards the back. Okay, and then you can curve it a little bit here. And then what you can do now is put your bead. So I'm going to put a pink one. The pink one represents October. It's tourmaline. It could also be an opal. And then what you want to do is we'll just cut this to 1/2 to 3/8 of an inch. And then we're going to form our loop at the top of this one. So that way, and then around there, and there is the L. And then we're going to do the M's. We're just going to bring this one down and then bend this up on itself here, and then get our larger pliers and just bring it down. So we're going to form like this kind of M thing here, and then bend this again to the back. So bend it up here, and then bend this one down around here. And then it would be nice to have it like a little bit fancy to one side. So we're just going to bring this one up here. This looks a little bit like the Scorpio that I have a tutorial on how to do the Scorpio ring. So we're going to bring this one here, and then we're just going to take this and finish it off at the bottom just to make it a little bit fancy there. And then we'll just clip it here. And then from this side here, we can just take this one and do the same idea. We're just going to bring it up, and then we can put our bead on that one here. So I'm going to get another pearl. I'll just stick the pearl on there, and then cut that to 3/8 to 1/2 an inch, and do it the same way we've done some of the other ones, where it's just like a simple finish. Bend it back and around, and there's the M. So the N is similar to the M. We're just going to bend it down, and then at the height that you want, we're just going to bend it back up, give it a nice sharp bend, and then either with the end of a pen or your large round pliers, we're just going to bring it down this way to make a nice little shape. You could definitely use the end of a pen if you want it more round at the top. And then we're just going to take the round pliers and make the shape at the bottom. So just wiggle it around until you have those parts even. And then just because you need to finish the end, you want to make it a little fancy, just take this, give it a bend, bring it in, and then you could give it a clip there. So just give it a clip. The idea is you really want to have it flush in there, so just stick it in the end in there, push it a bit if you have to, and then we need to do a bit of loop at the top. So just bring this, same thing, start it, bring it up, give it a bit of a loop here, and then the idea is you want it just to come up right here, and then you can add your beads. So to represent the ruby this time, I'm just going to use a red miracle bead. It's super cute. And then you can just like bend that. You could do your simple finish, or if you want to do the wrap finish, you can do that as well. So just bring it around, wrap it around once, and whatever finish you think looks best is fine. So there's the N. So the O is pretty simple. You just want to start with a round form, and then you could shape it once you've started it, because it's not a full circle. You want it to be like a little bit more elongated, so then you can go ahead and play around with the shape how you want. You can use your round pliers to shape it as well. Putting it around the pen just gives it a bit of a head start. So now what you can do is just take your smaller round pliers and do like a little loop thing at the top. So just bring this around and then bring it up, and that's going to be the top. And then what you want to do is you want to finish this end, so just wiggle it around to the shape that you want, and you can go ahead and just bring that around and give it a clip at the top so it's flush. And then just take your little end and push it down so it's not sharp. So I'll just get a pink faceted bead, and then we're going to go ahead, and if I want to keep this simple, just cut it to 1/2 to 3/8 of an inch, clip it, and then do our simple loop at the top. So you guys choose if you want the simple loop or the twisted loop, whatever you think looks best. And then we're just going to push that in, and there's the O. So to make the P, we do want to finish it at the top, so I'm just going to go around to the bottom here and then do a simple kind of loop thing here. And then where we want the upper loop on the P to start, I'm just going to bend it at an angle, sort of a right angle there, and then I'll get my larger round pliers, bring it around here, and then we can form our little loop to the back. So if you want to make it like a little fancy, so you see it, just bend it towards like the bottom here, and then bring it around, and then you can just finish it off here. So we're just going to flip it, pinch this in place, and then just pinch it so it's flush in there. And then we can add a bead. So I'm going to add this one. It looks a bit like the turquoise, and we have a lot of wire here, so I could just bend it back and bring this one around and do the turnaround and clip it really nicely in there, and there's a simple P. So for the Q, we're just going to do the circle like we did in the O, just to get it started. So just bring it around to form sort of the shape that you want. And then what you want to do is at the bottom, once you have sort of like an oval type shape going on, you need to form your little sort of X-y thing at the bottom of the Q. So just take this, bend this at a right angle, take this down, and that's going to already form a little bit of a kind of a cross thing at the bottom of your Q. And then what you want to do is just, you can exaggerate it a little bit if you want, and then you're going to just bend this to the back. Okay, so that makes your little kind of cross part. Make sure the one wire is on the top of the other, and then bring this, and you just want to kind of continue this back up. It's very discreet. It's right behind that one there. And then at the top, depending on how tall you want your Q to be, so just bend that at a right angle here, and then this one can go to the front, and you're just going to finish your shape of the Q, whatever shape you want. You can make it more like bent at the top, and then bring that one around and give it a little clip to finish it off, and pinch that in so the end is flush. And then if you need to adjust sort of the angle of that, you can do that as well. And then choose another bead. We'll get the light blue one again. That represents March, the aquamarine. And then let's just do a simple bend for that one, about 1/2 an inch. And then take this and bend it back and in there. So we're just gonna close up that circle, make it very discreet and snug in there, and there we have the Q. So for the R, we'll start at how we did the P. We're just going to bring that one up here and then bend that on an angle just across here. We'll bend that one down here, do a little bit of a loop thing going here, and then bend this one to the front. So we're going to bring that up and bring it around. And then we could just bend that also on a right angle, and then just take our round pliers, bring it around here, and then bring it in a little more if you have to. Depends what shape you want in there. Bend this to the back, just hold it right like that, bring it around, and then you're going to cut it flush in here. It doesn't have to be super tight. It's okay if it's a little bit loose there. And then just as long as it's flush. And so there's the R, and then we can put this one here. This could actually be the ruby or the garnet, and then we're going to make just a simple end. We'll cut it to 1/2 inch, bring it back and around, and just to finish up the loop, and there we have the R. So the S is just like a regular S. We're just going to bring this one around here. You can make it as fancy as you want. What you can do is just form the S first to see about, what your size you want. And then when you're happy with the size of the bottom, go ahead and take your small round pliers and do one of those little loopy things. And don't make it perfectly circular. It looks nicer when it's more of a teardrop shape. And we're just going to take that and give it a pinch. And then we want to do the top. So make sure it's sort of in the position that you like. Bring that one around. You can keep wiggling with it to make sure you like the shape. And then when you're happy with it, we're going to do another little loopy here. So take the small pliers, bring it around, and then super easy, we're just going to put a bead on the top. Just put another little topaz on there, and then same thing, we can keep it super simple. Cut it to 1/2 inch, and then take the big round pliers, angled, bring it in, and there's our S. So there's a few ways you can do the T. If you want it very simple, just bend this to the back here, and then just decide where you want the top of the T to be, and just bring that one across here, and then you can just kind of do a little line across here and a little line across there. It almost looks like a little infinity sign. I kind of like it like that. If this isn't wide enough, just unroll it and bring this one in a little bit more. And then what you want to do is when you bend it, make sure this wire is one behind the other. Just take this, bend it around, make sure they stay in place, and then just give that a little pinch, push that down, and then it looks kind of funky like that. Like I said, there's other ways you can do these letters. You can look online at cursive letters. It's fine too. This bead is also light blue, like the aquamarine. So we're going to put that one on there, and then we'll just go ahead and say we want to do the extra twist on this one. Just bend it to the left or right, depending on what hand you work with. And then we're just going to bring that around, bend it, and clip that in place for the T. So the U is super simple. You can also grab your pen or your Sharpie, whatever you want to do, if you want a nice round bottom like that. And then what you want to do is just take these smaller round pliers and bend this to one side. We want it, somewhat symmetrical, so make sure you bend this more or less at the same position on the other side. And what you can do for that is just kind of play around with it a little bit. And then so what we'll do for this one is we're just going to bend that one down, and then you need to put the bead somewhere, so I'm just going to decide to put it on the left side here and bring that one up, and that'll be for the bead. And then for this side you can do the same sort of position, of the loop if you like. You could do a spiral if you want, whatever you like. And then we're going to cut it flush in there. And then we're just going to pinch that down. And then on that side, you can put a bead. So I'll just put a little one that looks almost like the amethyst. And we're just going to cut that to our 3/8 to 1/2 inch. And take our round pliers, either the bigger ones or the smaller ones, whatever works best for you, and then bend it, and then flick of the wrist, just twist it that way, and you can pinch it. And there's our U. So the V is very similar to the U, except you just do a sharp bend at the bottom. If you want a sharper bend, you just take your flat pliers and really get them in there to make it sharp. And then what you can do is decide where you want the top of the V to be, as we did with the U, and just bring it around and then just compare them. You can measure them if you want, but it's not always necessary. You can just eyeball it. And then we'll do as we did with the U. We'll just take our smaller round pliers, decide where you want the bend to be, and then just bring this one up. And that is going to be where we put our bead. And then on the other side, it's just going to be decorative. So we're just going to bring that one in there, bend it up, and give it a pinch. So it's going to sit right in that little cranny there, little nook and cranny. And then we're just going to stick a bead on there. So let me look in my pretty little beads, and we'll put another light green one on there. It's quite pretty. That one represents August, the peridot, and then we're just going to cut it off. I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing that right. In French it would read as peridot, so let me know in the comments how I pronounce that word. And now we're going to take this round pliers back and forth. You guys got the hang of it by now. And just pinch it in if you have to, and there's the V. So the W is a lot like the V. We can just bend that down on an angle, and you can get your flat pliers and bend it up like that. And then if you want to make it a little more decorative, you can just make this one into more of a loop here, and then get this down in the same position. Just check it's more or less the same, and then bring that one up a little bit. And then you want these to be about in the same position, so just check them as you go. I think I want that to be more straight. Bring that one down here, and then just compare them on either side to see how they are. And then you want to do our little loop again, so bring that one, bring it up for the bead, and then this one we're just going to bring it in so we can cut it flush. Bring that in there, give it a little pinch with the cutters, put that one flush. Then we're going to add another clear one to represent the diamond, and I'm just going to do a simple loop at the top, 1/2 inch, and back and forth, and there's our W. So for the X, leave a little bit at the top there, and then just bring this one down, and we're going to form the bottom of the X, but I'm going to put like a little kind of a foot thing on it, so I'm just going to bend it a wee bit to the right, and then bend it right to the back, push it in, and then take this one back up right behind that wire, so it's just hidden behind there. And then at the halfway point, take your flat pliers and make a nice sharp angle down. And same thing, we want to put like a little foot thing on the other side, so just bend it, trying to eyeball the right position, and then bend this one to the front, because this one you want to cross over the other line. So bend that to the front, bring this up, adjust it, bring it right up. So there you have what's looking like your X. And then if you need this part to be a little higher, if you found it got too low, just kind of straighten it out a little bit, and then bend it at a higher position. So that's going to be a little bit higher. And then this one you could bend, make sure it's about the right same position. And then if you still have to adjust that, you can. And then this one, we're going to do our little bend, and it's going to go up towards like putting the bead there. So we're going to bring that one up here. And then this one, we'll just do a decorative one on this side. So we'll take that, bring it around, and then trim it at the back. So get our cutters and give it a little push. And then we're going to put our bead on that side. I have another little amethyst looking one. This one's a really pretty faceted bead, and we're going to cut that to 1/2 inch and take that one back and around to go right almost in that little hole, and there's the X. So for the Y, we need to form almost a U type thing here. So we're going to bring that one around like that. And then what you want to do is actually bend this one just to the back, just straight back here. And then we're just going to form a kind of a loop thing at the bottom. So we're just going to form like a little loopy thing. And then this one, as we did in the U, we're just going to bend it down sort of at these two at the same level, and then make a little kind of loopy thing, bring that one up. And then we're going to finish that one off, I would just like make a little loop to the back. Just hold it like that, bring it to the back, and then just make a really loose loop here. And as long as you cut it so it will sit flush, just give it a little clip and pinch that in, and then you can put your bead at the top. I have another miracle bead. This could be like a sapphire. We'll stick that one there, and then you can either do your simple loop, or if you want to bend it back, bend it all the way around, and then just do a loop right around. So this one's a little more secure, but honestly, I think if your wire is stiff enough, you could do either way. And there's your Y. So last letter, the Z, we're just going to keep it super simple. I'm just going to bend this one a couple inches from the end down on an angle. And then what we can do from here is just bend it across this way like a real Z. And then what you can do, if you want it to be a little more fancy, just bend it down and then give it a little bit of body like that. And then you can take your round pliers and then do our little loop to the back, and then just bring it up so it's kind of like centered there, somewhat centered, not really, it's more to the left a little bit. And then this one also, we can make it a little more fancy and just give it a little bit of a curve. It's amazing what a difference just a little bit of a curve will make. So play around with it, how you like the shape. And then from there, you can also do that little fancy loop at the bottom too. So we're just going to bring that one around, bring it right around, and give it a clip. So we'll clip that one there. And then we're just going to pinch it in place, and from there, looks really fun. I'll put a purple miracle bead on there just because I love miracle beads, and then we'll do our simple loop at the top too. So cut it to about 1/2 inch, get our round pliers, and back and forth, and there we have the last letter, our Z. So thanks so much for watching the video. Give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for lots more wire art and jewelry making videos. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I go live and when I post new videos, and we'll see you the next time.